All right, this video is simple. I'm gonna be giving you 10 tips, 10 things you can implement today that I guarantee will help you grow on Instagram. So look, a little about me. I've built over 10 pages, maybe closer to 15, brand pages, business pages, theme pages, to a cumulative 10 million plus followers. And I've done it in every era of Instagram, which has changed dramatically throughout the years. Most recently, I grew my personal brand by over 400,000 followers in the last year and a half. And I've hundreds of millions of views. And listen, this has really changed my life, like profoundly. In year 2, as a full-time creator, I'm on track to pull in over $500,000 this year through brand deals, products, speaking engagements, etc. Now, it's important to remember that followers, views, none of this equals cash. All right. So these 10 tips, they're going to help you grow on Instagram, which is important because obviously attention is a prerequisite to be able to convert it into cash. But as far as the monetization, there's so many ways to do it. If you subscribe, I'll do a follow-up video to show you how to turn attention into dollars. But for now, let's go over the 10 things that you can implement today that I guarantee you will help you grow on Instagram. All right. Number 1, approach your content as a unit of conversation. Okay. The most important signal to the Instagram algorithm is shares per engagement. Sends per engagement. So Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, explains that going into 2025, Instagram sits at the intersection of friends and entertainment. This is how he explains it.
Is Instagram about friends or is it about entertainment? And the truth is we're at the intersection of those two ideas. And that's really our identity. We're about connecting over creativity. That's why I talk about sends all the time as an important feature in ranking. We're always looking for more ways to help people connect around and over their interests. That identity has stayed the same for a long time now and will stay the same in the future. Now, how we meet that mission will change as the world changes.
So you want your content to drive conversation. Ideally, it should be something that people feel compelled to share with their friends. If you want to grow on the platform, gotta lean into its identity. So approach your content strategy with that in mind. Before you share or post anything, you gotta ask yourself, will people feel compelled to share? Will this drive conversation? All right, number 2, threads. I'm amazed at how many people value Instagram as a way to grow their brand or their business and ignore threads. So my threads audience is a lot different than my Instagram audience, and threads helps my Instagram to grow and vice versa. But the way that I show up on threads is much different. I don't want you to just repost whatever it is that you post on Instagram to threads verbatim, word for word, video post, carousel, whatever it is. It's not a terrible formula, but I think overall it's a losing formula. I think threads requires a different approach. So I want you to use the platform as a complement to your IG. For example, you post a video on Instagram, maybe you share the behind the scenes or some extra thoughts about the idea and the ideation and the concept behind the video, things like that. And you want to participate in the different communities on threads. They're thriving. I don't care what the media tells you. Believe me, there's a lot going on over there. And more importantly, it's going to contribute a lot to your growth on Instagram. Number 3, DM automation, whether it be high level, ManyChat, whatever it is. Look, nobody wants to click in the link on your bio. It's got terrible conversions. Nobody ever does it. Nobody cares. Adding a link to story, not very good conversion either. And I have somewhat of a thesis that the algorithm likely, presumably, de-ranks stories with links in them. So if you want to drive traffic somewhere, you want to use automation. So have your audience comment or DM you a specific word, and that'll trigger a sequence. For example, if you DM me on Instagram at RPN, or if you comment on any of my posts, the word signal, it'll automatically send you a link to my free newsletter, which if you find value in this video, trust me, you want to be subscribed. I send it honestly a couple times a month. There's no set time that I send it. I only send it when I know it's 100% going to bring you value, and I think it's full of gems. Number 4, thoughtful engagement and commenting. Listen, so many creators are just about them, me. I want you to consume all of my stuff, but I'm not going to reciprocate. I want you to follow me, but I don't want to follow anybody because I want a low following to follower ratio to make myself look cool or important. Losing formula. Look, what you really want to do online is to build community. That's the name of the game. And I'm sorry, you can't automate this. There's no way to fake it. So a tip here would be to identify, similar creators or accounts in your niche that you really admire. Look, throw on the noties every time that they post, comment thoughtful things on the content that they make, make a real effort to reach out and build a relationship. And I don't want to just see fire emojis and, like dope, awesome, great, like thoughtful commenting, man. Like, appreciate and acknowledge the small details and attention to detail that they add in their work. And I'm telling you, it's going to go a long way. When you're really part of a community on the gram, things just go a lot better for you. And again, put in some effort. It's got to be authentic. There's no way to fake this. There's no way to automate this. I don't know what else to tell you. You got to put in the work. It's got to be authentic. And speaking of authentic, the rest of this video, I've been like reading some stuff off the teleprompter. I don't really like the way that it's flowing. I'm just going to go off the cuff the rest of the video. So number 5, patience. You got to make posting less of an event. Look, in the old days, I would say like 4 or 5 years ago when I was posting on Instagram, the initial traction was super important just because I would post something and I shit you not, after 3 minutes, I would be able to tell you like exactly how many likes, how many views, comments, engagement that piece of content was going to end up at. It was like super evident. Nowadays, the algorithm, I'm telling you, these modern algorithms, they take a lot more time to find the right audience for your piece of content. So I have so many anecdotes here. You know, I had a piece of content the other day, I'll put it up on screen. This piece of content, I think, ended up at like 130,000 likes. I don't know, million plus views, 2 million views, whatever it was. And I think after week 3, it was at like 40,000 views, like 40 to 50,000 views. And I thought it was like a bit of a flop. A few months later, just randomly popped off and went crazy. And the same thing happened. I made another video called How to Start a Cult. Again, I thought it was a flop. I think a month and a half in, it was still sitting at, I don't know, like 3,000 or 4,000 likes, which isn't terrible. I can't call that a flop. But I check again, 2 months after, I think it's at like 25, 30,000 likes, whatever it is. And I see this happening all the time. So the main piece of advice here is to have patience. I don't want to say post and ghost, because it is true, like the first, 5-10 minutes, stick around, comment like with your, with your most loyal, supporters. I mean, you got, even at the top, they do this, Zuck posts in the first 10-15 minutes, he's sticking around just to comment to some of the early commenters. I think that definitely is really important. And it's a positive signal to the algorithm. So don't post and ghost, but post and have patience. Stop tripping about the numbers. I don't want you to refresh every 5 seconds, seeing how it performs. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter where it stands a week from now. Give it a few months nowadays, literally. And I'm also a big proponent, if it doesn't do well, say a couple months in, 2-3 months in, if at that time it's not doing well, I don't mind you taking it down and re-uploading it with a stronger hook if you really believe in that piece of content. I'm a proponent of that. All right, number 6, this is a huge one. Content repurposing. Okay, look, let me give you an example first. All right, I reposted one of my most viral reels because I noticed when I went into the insights that only like 3% of my audience had seen it, right? So I reposted it. And the results, again, were amazing. Still only like 6% of my audience saw this particular piece of content, but I reached 2 million more accounts, 20,000 new followers. And the point is this, man, like on Instagram, even your best performing posts, only a small percentage of your followers are seeing it. And out of the 5 billion people in the world with internet access that have a chance to see it, I mean, like then it becomes a microscopic number, right? So I would suggest your best performing stuff, or maybe the stuff that you're most proud of, like repetition is the game. You want to repost this stuff maybe every 6 to 12 months. You don't want to abuse it or overdo it. Make sure that you still have a steady flow of content out in your pages and just like a bunch of reposts. Of course, you want to be tasteful with it, but I can't believe more people don't take advantage of this. And I'm definitely going to be incorporating it in my content. Some people may be annoyed, but the vast majority of people will not mind. And even more people are going to be proud or are going to be happy that you reshared it because they missed it the first time. So content repurposing. If you're not doing this, do yourself a favor. All right, number 7, pinned comments. Okay, nowadays on Instagram, the comment section is just as much the game as the content. All right, the comments are the games now, especially on Instagram. They've taken like this subculture of their own. Like IG comments can get a little intense, a little insane, but you want to take advantage of this because somebody sees a piece of content on their Reels tab, on their Explore page, whatever it may be. They're going to the comment section to see, kind of like gauge temperature or see what the culture, what the zeitgeist might think about that particular piece of content. So take advantage of it. I want you to pin something at the top, a favorable comment. And look, I don't want you to simulate or kind of fake this, but you could get one of your friends to comment something very particular, something like, I'm so glad I found this page. Everything you post, I gain value, I learn, I laugh, whatever it might be. And I'm telling you, it actually works. There's a lot of influencers who use this. They get one of their influencer friends to leave a strategic comment. They pin it at the top and it brings in a lot of growth. Try it out. Number 8, I hesitate to include this because it's kind of cheap. Right? But there are tasteful ways to implement this as a strategy. I call it oddities and mistakes. Oddities and mistakes. The easiest way to illustrate this, I'm going to give you an example with this account. It's called Setup Spawn. So he deliberately makes mistakes and leaves little odd Easter eggs in his videos to brilliantly drive more comments, more shares. Remember what I said earlier? Shares, sends per engagement. That's the key to Instagram. So for example, take a look at this reel. There's a tab open in his browser that asks, do I tell my parents I'm adopted? Which is just, it's so hilariously random and unexpected. And as you can imagine, half of the comment section is focused on this tab. And as I said, guarantee you, drove more views, drove more shares. So on this one, he pronounces, and he does this a lot, he pronounces Tacoma Taco-Ma. And of course, as you can imagine, comment section went berserk over this. Guarantee you, resulted in, I don't know, 200% more shares and sends and comments and engagements. And this is, you know, part of the strategy that he rinses and repeats to go super viral. The guy's got millions of followers on Instagram. Gets an insane amount of views. And this example here, he pronounces Africa, Africa, something like that. And again, as you can imagine, go to the comment section. It's just, you know, people go crazy and berserk over this stuff. So you can definitely take advantage of this. Something else that kind of falls in line with this is something called the pratfall effect. You may want to look that up a little bit too, but people actually like you more and develop more of an affinity to you if you make mistakes. It's a psychological phenomenon called the pratfall effect. This is probably something a little bit different, but again, oddities and mistakes. Tastefully integrate this into your content, you know, make it, because it can be a little gimmicky if you do it wrong, right? But you can make this part of your brand and part of the fun and part of the reason that people follow you. Give it a try. Growth, it's gonna go crazy. And number 9, the idea is becoming the game, okay? Unique ideas are the engine of any social platform now. And this goes hand in hand with another tip. I'm gonna implore you to stop scrolling so much, okay? You're not gonna find good ideas while you're scrolling. In fact, it's gonna do the opposite. You're gonna fall into these little mental traps, the comparison games, etc. I like to tell this to people because I like framing it this way. I actually do think people keep it in the back of their heads and it helps them to stop scrolling. But the only thing you're accomplishing by scrolling endlessly is making other people money. It's the only thing you're accomplishing. So if you want to think of ideas, go on a walk, you know, go to the gym, get the body moving, use AI. I love doing this conversationally with an LLM, just like back and forth, you know, trying to brainstorm ideas as I would with a brainstorming partner. And the other thing you can do, we just launched a platform called Pulse. You go to pulse.press. You can access it. It's still in beta. It's not available publicly, but if you leave your email on the wait list, I'll email you personally to give you access to it. And what Pulse does is every day, almost in real time, it's going to surface the most important conversations and stories in your niche, industry, sector, etc. So you're going to be equipped with that knowledge kind of first. It's one of the reasons that I've done really well on Instagram, actually. People always ask me, where's my process? Where are you getting your information, your story ideas, etc. My process is messy. You know, I have like 100+ tabs open on Chrome at any one time. And I'm just like tabbing through, scrolling, trying to find like things that are happening in my niche. And Pulse just streamlines this into one central dashboard. So give it a try. Go to pulse.press, sign up, and I'll get you access. And number 10, now before we get there, follow @RPN on Instagram, okay? I study this stuff. I love the art and the science behind communication and making videos on the internet. I think another tip that I would give you is just kind of like follow what I do, okay? If something flops, don't do it. But if something works well, go ahead and copy it. I don't mind. So number 10, the visual hook. Remember, the game is to capture attention, maintain attention, then reward that attention with some sort of payoff. If you do that successfully, you win on Instagram. And a visual hook is a very effective way for step 1 in that equation to capture attention. Look, the verbal hook just doesn't cut it anymore, okay? It used to be a competitive advantage, and now it's kind of like just a requirement. Everybody knows how to do it. So again, let me illustrate this with some examples of good scroll-stopping visual hooks that do a really good job at provoking curiosity. So this is Josh Goovy. He's a dope creator, and he's got like an almost fake-looking, like that's how beautiful it is background behind him. Immediately stops the scroll. Here's Logan Robles, like a gaming tech lifestyle creator, and he's hitting you here with the wide angle top down shot. And it's a bit unexpected. It's unique. You don't see it very often. It's very effective. And this is my friend Yasin sprinting full speed towards the camera and leaping over a bench. And again, it's curious. It makes you pause. Like, you know, what the hell is this guy up to? What does he have to say? So like I said, curiosity, that is the game. Okay, the initial curiosity loop, a visual hook, something that you're not quite used to, something unexpected, use that to your advantage. And look, that's it. And I guarantee you, if you implement all 10 of these things into your system, into the way that you approach Instagram, just guarantee you're going to do a lot better and you're going to grow. Instagram is such an incredible vehicle to make your dreams come true. It really is. I love the platform, right? Like I just feel like it's the HQ for creators online. Yes, like YouTube may be a little bit more profitable direct from platform. I think Facebook's also really paying well for short form video right now. But in order to really build a brand and just have yourself stand out, I think Instagram is one of the top 3. I love the platform. I use it kind of as like my HQ, sort of my main home online. With that, my friends, take care of yourselves. See you in the next one.